By the way, have you been to Williamsburg?
Virginia? No, I don't think so.
You have to take your son to Williamsburg. But Williamsburg
Really?
is you could say the first capital of the United States. It was the Virginia colony. They treat it like a tourist attraction. So they block it off and they ticket it, and it's all themed on the inside. So it is like everyone there dresses in period. But that is where Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, a lot of the famous people in American history got their start. That was developed by, I think it was John D. Rockefeller or his son, I can't remember which. But in 1920s, they went in there. There were a bunch of derelict buildings. They bought up everything that was left, and then they rebuilt based on old drawings. They rebuilt the buildings that were gone.
So they rebuilt what was torn down.
Yeah, and they built it based on old drawings and paintings. You think about today, we have pictures and architectural drawings. Sometimes we have architectural drawings.
Oh, beautiful!
But
wow.
Look at this. The brick building here is I think the governor.
It looks like colonial America. You know, it's traditional red brick and the pitched roofs. It's really beautiful.
So, and this goes on for blocks and blocks and blocks. The point I was making is that if you go there, you will swear that all these buildings are 200-300 years old. 90% of them were built in the 1920s.
Here's the challenge and the kind of argument that developers sometimes make, right? When they're forced by local government to adhere to a certain look, is that it's insanely expensive. It's much more expensive to do this type of look and to go back and to try to appreciate the old architecture versus using the cheapest and easiest materials available to them, right? So developers are cautious when they see historic district. It's kind of a red flag, like, ooh, I don't want to mess with that.
This is a tourist attraction. So this one was built with a foundation with Rockefeller money to recreate colonial Williamsburg. And the point I was making is that now those buildings that were built in the 1920s, they're 100 years old. So they still look old, even though they're relatively new.
It's fabulous. And I hope the same for Ybor.
St. Augustine is an example. Oldest continuously occupied European settlement in the United States. But in areas there, they've built buildings that are reflective of the historic buildings. For example, on the waterfront, there's a Hilton Hotel that was built about 20 years ago. From the outside, it looks like a series of colonial buildings.
Yeah.
When you get on the inside they're all connected in a corridor, and it's all actually a couple buildings that are a normal hotel on the inside.
What can the city of Tampa do to help the private sector to get stuff like that done? I mean, obviously there's rules in place, right? The Barrio Latino Commission is essentially the historic district's block to anything crazy or modern going on in Ybor, right?
But that's where I think it has to be more peer pressure and vision or ambition than regulation.
Hey guys, if you want to watch the full episode of this clip, click right here. Make sure to subscribe by clicking right here. Thank you for watching.